we invite you to assume a comfortable position in which you can relax as fully as possible. You might wish to sit in a cross-legged position with a straight spine. You might feel more comfortable on a chair or in an armchair, or you might choose to lie down. This is time for you, so you can't get it right or wrong. We simply ask you to be comfortable and to gift yourself this time for a little inner journey and for some introspection. So relax into the most comfortable position you can find and allow yourself to be comfortable in your body, your mind, your emotional body, and in your spiritual bodies and energy bodies. Give yourself permission to fully relax and let go. Perhaps you've had to have your guard up for some time out there in the world, and perhaps you wish to choose to drop that. Perhaps you wish to choose to drop your guard just a little bit, or perhaps you choose to consciously just keep that guard just a little bit longer, and to maybe drop some of it a bit further down the track, sometime throughout this meditation. It is up to you. We're simply here to be your companions and to offer suggestions and invitations. So we invite you to give permission to your breath to deepen naturally. How would you breathe if you were totally relaxed? How would you breathe if you'd achieved everything in life you ever could achieve? How would you breathe if you heard your soul whisper, "You've done it, you've made it, you're already here, you're exactly where you're meant to be in your life right now"? How would you breathe if your inner and outer world were exactly as you wanted them for yourself as well as for everybody else? How would you breathe if you let yourself be? How would you breathe if you were in acceptance of absolutely everything and everyone? And how would you breathe if this moment, this simple breath, was okay, was totally okay as it is, and for now you didn't need to strive or assert or change anything or make anything happen? How would you breathe if things were quite all right now? And as you breathe, you might or you might not choose to find out that just for now, things actually might be all right. And whether they are or not, we invite you to deepen into your inner journey, to meet your inner world, your inner angel, and your inner animal, and everything in between. We'd love to invite you to meet all of yourself from a place that's as free of judgment as possible today, and from a place that is quite loving, quite open-minded, and quite open-hearted. Imagine you'd just found a little child outside your house crying in the streets, and that child might have gotten a little bit lost, or it might be just having a tearful moment for reasons you might not know. How would you treat that child? Would you judge it? Would you harshly say, "Oh, just stop crying"? Or would you hug it, hold it, and be there for it and accept it? And we ask you for nothing less but to accept yourself just as you would accept a child that's crying and lost outside. With that same softness, with that same loving, open heart. Not that you're necessarily crying or lost, but a crying child so easily can open the heart. And we would love it if your heart could be as open as that right now. Not for anyone outside of yourself, but for you right now. And with your heart as open as possible right now, we'd like to ask you how you feel about your life right now. Is there anywhere you'd rather be in any of your life areas? Or is it just fine as it is? We wish to emphasize that you don't need to be anywhere else in any life area for anyone. That you're loved as you are. And that if you never changed a thing, you'd always be loved. Always. You're held in love. Whether or not you remain where you are in life right now. This question is simply for you. Do you wish to be anywhere else in any of your life areas? Perhaps simply to explore something different. Perhaps simply to meet different aspects of life or of yourself. Perhaps from a place of abundance, that life has so much to offer, that you've come here to this planet, into this body, to experience quite a lot. Perhaps you love your life as it is, and yet there's more to see, to feel, to experience, to manifest, to create, to co-create. So for a moment, we'd like to ask you to follow your excitement, to follow your inspiration, without anything being wrong with your life as it is today. We'd like to playfully invite you to feel the answer to the question, and where would you like to take it from here? What would your heart desire or like to play with if you gave it permission to? Perhaps you've been by yourself for a while and your heart whispers that you might love to be in relationship again. Perhaps there's this location somewhere other than where you live, and your heart might whisper that it could rather be beautiful to live there for some time, or perhaps to just travel there and visit. Or perhaps there's a calling within your heart saying, there's so much I have to offer to this world. I'd like to expand into that. I'd like to gift more of my skills and talents to this world. And I'd love to take the next steps towards any or all of what's been previously just said. Or perhaps your heart has a different impulse, but let it nudge you, let it guide you, let it whisper to you. Perhaps you can feel a calling, a direction, something like, my life has been unfolding perfectly so far, and I am where I'm meant to be. And now I can take the freedom to take it further. You might feel ready to take it further, absolutely ready. Or you might feel some fear. You might feel anything right now, and meet that and take another deep breath. And now zoom in on where it is you might wish to go in your life. Notice it, feel it more, connect with it. Connect with that new direction, these new steps. Perhaps it's a new skill you wish to learn. Perhaps you wish to be more of who you are already, but embody it more, bring more to the world. Perhaps you wish to grow beyond some fears or limitations. Whatever you're choosing, just fully meet it, fully focus on it, fully be with it. And just for a moment, give yourself permission to feel, what would it be like if I never ever went there? What would it be like if I said, no, I can't do it, or no, I don't love myself enough to do it, I don't feel I deserve it, I'd feel guilty if I let myself, I'd feel ashamed if I let myself, or I just can't be bothered. I'm too lethargic, or I'm just not going to do it. I could, but no, I won't. Give yourself the choice, give yourself the option to say yes or no. You don't have to. You don't have to for anyone outside of yourself. You're loved as you are. But for you, simply focus on you. How would you feel if you didn't go? Would that be quite all right? Or is there a sigh in your heart or some sadness? Would you feel disappointed, or if you'd let yourself down? And whatever you're feeling on the option of I'm not going to do it, just notice it, be the witness. No judgment, no reaction. None of that is necessary, but just witness. Okay, that's where I am if I choose not to. And then with your next deep breath, focus on something else. Focus on, how am I feeling once I've done it? Once I'm there. Meet whatever you're finding, whatever it is. Maybe you're surprised, or maybe it's just a simple, that feels good, that feels comfortable. Whatever it is, fully meet it. Which one do you prefer? The no or the yes? And there is no right or wrong. Maybe you like them both, or maybe it's hugely different. And take another couple of breaths and let yourself journey deeper. Let yourself drop right within yourself. Perhaps with an attitude of, hey, I'm ready to really meet you. I'm ready to totally face all of you. I might be a bit scared by some of what I'm finding, but there's more curiosity and more sense of adventure than fear. Drop deeply into your inner world. Travel all the way down the rabbit hole with a curiosity of what might be there. And our question is, who might be holding you back? Whom are you meeting there, deep within? Perhaps you might want to spiral down a staircase. You're walking down, 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 down this spiraling staircase till it goes no further down. There might be cobwebs or not. It might be dark or very dim light or not. You might need a torch or a candle to see down here. You've walked all the way down now, and there are 3 doors to 3 different aspects of yourself. And as you walk closer to the doors, you see that on every one of the doors there's some writing. And the one you're standing right in front of right now says, "The one who's holding you back." It can only be an aspect of you. So you're very curious to meet this part of yourself. And we would love to remind you to meet that part with love. Let yourself open the door when you're ready, and let yourself step in. And once your eyes have adjusted to the absence or presence of light in this room, see who or what is meeting you there. Is there an actual person in there? Who is it? What do they look like? Is it one of your much younger selves? Is it one of your past life selves? Is it one of your ancestors or relatives? Or is it an aspect of yourself that nearly looks unrecognizable, and you would have never thought that that's you too? Notice the details. What are they wearing? What are their facial expressions? What's their body language? Are they looking at you? How alive are they? Do they look as if they'd be willing to speak with you? What else do you notice about them? And that could be anything. Absolutely anything. Witness yourself. How are you as you meet with them? Remember, this is who or what is holding you back. So we'd like to ask you to ask them, what are you capable of? And we ask you to meet both their light and their shadow. And we ask you to be courageous and to meet their shadow first. Ask them, what's the worst you could do for me? And let yourself get a sense of their worst expression of themselves. Their absolute worst. What would they be capable of doing should they decide to fully go into their darkest shadow form? What could they do to you, to your life, to your vision, to your future, and to others around you? What you see might not be pretty, but we ask you to meet it meet it in the knowing that this aspect has no power over you, and that it can and will only act out if either you give it permission to, or if you remain unconscious of it and deny it. Once you've met it, it has no power over you whatsoever. So we ask you to really look at it, to really meet it, and to see, feel, sense the answer to the question, what's the worst you're capable of? Watch it, witness it. Is that something this aspect is already doing in your life? Or not? Is it something that's presently happening? Or is it one of many possible futures? The more you meet this aspect with love, without judgment, the more it can feel safe to open up to you and to show you what it's capable of. Watch, sense, witness. Who is this? And what's the worst he or she is capable of? There's no need for you to stay with that for too long. So we ask you to now take a deep breath and to step back, to thank this aspect for revealing itself to you. And again, meet it with much love. The darkest shadow form has always been created by a wound, by a painful experience. And it always deserves to be met with respect and with love. It doesn't deserve permission to rule, yet it deserves to be met, to be integrated with, so it can transform into a more comfortable form of itself. Can you recognize that deep down, the deepest, darkest shadow of that aspect is not happy? Could you offer it a hug or some other form of demonstrating your love to that aspect? We ask you to overcome any resistance and to love that part now. It is part of you, otherwise it would not have shown up. It wants to be seen, met, freed, released. And its only way to find freedom, the freedom to transform, the freedom to change, is if it's met by you and not denied, and if it's loved by you and neither feared nor hated. Your soul, your higher self, is much stronger than the darkest of shadow. This aspect, no matter how dark, could never run your life unless you let it. Offer your love to this aspect. Gently, it might have been deprived of love for a long, long time. Whilst remaining centered in love. Now ask this aspect, what's the best you can do for me? Show me your light. And remember, it is the part of you that's been holding you back, or that is holding you back. Remember, it does that to protect you. Even though it might not be doing what you want or what's good for you, it does it with a protective or even loving intention. So, what is the best you can do for me? Witness and watch. You might understand that aspect some more now. Oh, this is why you've been doing that all along. Or, oh, okay, that's why you would do that to me. You're actually meaning well. You want to protect me. You want to keep me safe. Let yourself be touched by that. Perhaps you can even find that quite sweet. Perhaps this being really is your friend. What's the best it can do for you? And you are free to decide whether you still need or want that, whether that is welcome or helpful in your life, or whether it's just holding you back. Then you can say to that aspect, that's great, that part really works for me, carry on, thank you. Or you might say, with love and humour, okay, you're fired, go on a holiday, you're out of a job. You don't need to do that for me. I actually don't find it helpful or beneficial. I'm going to do something else now. I've got other aspects, so they can have a job now. And even if you say you're out of a job, it doesn't mean that you're pushing that aspect further down into the unconscious or into the shadow. It doesn't mean that you're cutting that self out and away from you. It simply means that you choose what behaviors are acceptable and which ones are not. How you want to be, how you want to live in the world, that's all. And that aspect can be perfectly loved whilst being asked to remain quiet or inactive or passive or receptive for now. Perhaps that aspect might simply be part of you to heal itself for some time, and then some other time it might get a different job. As it will be time soon to focus on something else, it's time to devote a few seconds of your time to fully and unconditionally, deeply love that aspect in its light form and in its shadow form. Just meet that aspect with your loving heart. And then it's time to focus your attention elsewhere and to step back and out of this room. You might want to close the door or leave it open. It's up to you. And then you step towards the next door. And look what's written on there. An undiscovered quality of yours that will help you get there. And you gently open that door. And again, Have a look whether it's light or dark in there, and whom you meet there. Who is there waiting for you? How alive are they? What do they look like? Body language, gestures, facial expressions. What are they wearing? Are they holding anything? Who's meeting you in there? Someone you know, or someone you've never met before? How do you feel about them? Can you remember to meet them with love, or even with love and some curiosity? Who is that aspect? And this time you might choose to focus on their light first and ask them, how can you help me? What can you do for me? And this might be an aspect that you've not connected much with before. Someone who you're not very familiar with. So you might be curious by what it is they're showing you. You might be surprised. What? There's an aspect inside of me that can do that? That's awesome. That's great. I'm looking forward to that. I thought other people could do that, but not me. Or it might be more of a sense of recognition, like, oh, there's that quality of mine again. I would have never guessed that that aspect can get me closer to where I want to be. Just witness for a while and take it in. Breathe in this aspect that's there for you and that can offer all these good qualities to you and to that vision of yours. How can that aspect help you to bring that vision of yours into your everyday reality? And as even the best of qualities and the best of aspects, all and without exception, have a shadow form too, this aspect will be rather pleased to show you its shadow form as well, just so you know what you're in for, just so you're pre-warned, just so you know in the future when it reveals itself to you in its shadow form, it's that aspect. I've met that before. I know what to do. I know how to meet it. And I totally know the first step will be to meet it with love. Witness what it could do in its shadow form. And if it ruled in its shadow form, how would that affect your vision and your life? Again, this aspect has no power over you. It can only rule in its shadow form if you choose to let it, or if it's so unconscious to you that you're not even aware it's there. But now that you've met it, you can choose whether to invite its light aspects or the dark ones. Remember to meet them both with love. Remember to meet them both without any judgment. The light and the dark and everything in between. And you're empowered to choose what sides of that aspect come out to play in your life. It's time to let that aspect know that it's loved, and perhaps even that you're grateful for its presence. So find your way of expressing love to this aspect. And then step back through the door and back into the hallways with the 3 doors. And walk towards the 3rd door and read what it says on there. And it says, your potential futures. Notice how you feel about that, whether there is a sense of anticipation or fear or anything else. And when you're ready, slowly step through that door. And it might be like a cinema screen there. There might be seats. It might be quite comfortable in there. Perhaps there's red, silky, velvety seats, and you can pick one and choose one and look at the screen. And as you sit down and get comfortable, the films start. And more than one potential future will be shown to you. And just witness with love. And notice how you feel about them. And which ones you prefer. Perhaps you might want to ask for specific potential futures to be shown. Perhaps you might like to see the one that might unfold in your life as you integrate with the aspect that can help you towards grounding and manifesting your vision. Perhaps you might want to see a glimpse of a potential future where you're fully actualizing your highest potential, where you're meeting your fears and then going ahead anyway. And perhaps you might also ask to see a potential future of following along with the guidance of the shadow form of what's holding you back. Just witness. It's good to know so that you can make conscious choices. And simply notice which futures you feel drawn to, magnetized by, and attracted to, and which futures repel you, scare you, or disappoint you. witness till you can see at least one possible future that you really, really love and feel drawn to and attracted to. And then focus on that before leaving the room again. Witness, watch the screen. What's being shown to you? And when you're ready, slowly distance yourself from these possible futures and return back to your present moment with the next deep breath. Let go of the possible futures and be aware that you're free to manifest either of them, any of them, or something even better. That this is just a potential future from the perspective of where you are right now. You're free to upgrade them anytime. With your next deep breath, leave the third room. And begin to walk up the stairs again, up and up and up, along this spiraling staircase. And take your time to walk back up and to feel the aftertaste, the after sensations of what it was you've just been witnessing and meeting. And then center back into yourself, into the current self of today. And take another deep breath and let yourself integrate these encounters and experiences. How is it to know your shadow and to know your light? We're here to remind you that everyone has both of them within them, and that everyone is free to either choose to come from their shadow or from their light within or from their dark within, in each and every moment. And we're here to remind you that they both deserve your love. Your inner light deserves your love, and your inner darkness deserves your love. And we're here to clarify that loving the shadow form of an aspect does not mean giving it permission to act out. We're here to remind you that you have choice in each and every moment, and that you're free to make use of your free will. Once you know who or what is holding you back, there's no need to let yourself be held back. And we invite you to witness what changes when you love the dark aspects and the light aspects and everything in between within yourself. Owning your shadow can mean tremendous empowerment. Knowing all of who you are can be tremendous empowerment. Knowing why you're moving forward or why you're not moving forward, knowing what it is that held you back, can be tremendous empowerment. Witness what happens when all of you steps forward. Witness what happens when your aspects are consciously integrated, and when you love both the light and the dark and everything in between, while directing who gets to sit on the driver's seat. Can you let yourself come out of this meditation with a smile on your face? Can you give yourself permission to have a sense of accomplishment, a sense of achievement? Can you be pleased with yourself? And we ask you to take a few deep breaths. And to begin to let yourself connect with your surroundings, with the room you're in. Perhaps you might want to remember what day it is today and where you are. And you might want to begin to move your body, to stretch, and to slowly get ready to open your eyes again. And then in your own time, slowly open your eyes, but still let yourself sit and be for at least several minutes before you shift into the next part of your day or into any activity. Take a few moments to ground yourself after this meditation by noticing visually what's around you. What do you see in the room? What things, what colours, what's outside the window. Notice some sound. Do you notice silence or any quiet little noise around you? Notice some bodily sensations. Perhaps you're hungry, or you really wish to move your body after meditating for nearly an hour. Witness and notice and be present. Be present and integrate in silence for a few more minutes. We're with you with much love, and we will step back now. Much love.